Shrikant Chouhan is joining us this morning. Shrikant, very good morning to you. Great to have you on. And, you know, this is the day really when we have to figure out what to do. Nirav is there as well. Nirav Asher, welcome and good morning to both of you. Shrikant, I'm going to start with you though. What is the expectation today? Because fundamentally the stage is set in terms of the concerns lifting, etc. We showed a very, very smart move yesterday. Do you see that momentum continuing on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I think, this market is currently facing a smart pullback from the lower levels. It was a deep decline on Tuesday. And after hitting the levels of 21,300 or 200, which was very close to 200 days exponential moving average, we saw a smart recovery in the market. But the base part of the overall last few days sessions is that the market managed to sustain above the levels of 21,700, above which it was consolidating since the last 4 months. And that has actually supported the market heavily. In fact, yesterday also, when there was decline in the market, we saw a good amount of buying support, close to 21,800 levels. And from there, all the way, the market recovered back to 22,300, which was the intermediate resistance level for the market. But the market managed to surpass almost all its important levels, and finally it closed at 22,600. So we believe that we are into extended pullback mode. We are now very close to 22,800, 850, where the market has spent time when it was consolidating within the broader range. So around these levels, we are expecting some profit taking. It is advisable to take some profit on long positions or reduce long positions around these levels, because I am expecting market to consolidate for next few days. Till the markets are not crossing 23,000 comfortably, we are going to see some range bound sort of activity. So if there is any higher opening, try to take some profit. If there is any correction during the market, then close to 22,400, 300, the market is having excellent support. Around these levels, again, we should look for taking some long positions.
Wow, what a positive view coming in after, especially what we've seen over the last few days. Nirav, fundamentally, it seems like everything had changed even fundamentally for the markets, even though these are not things that happen daily. But between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course this morning, it looks like there is some stability that's returning back to markets. It's back to basics, back to fundamentals. You'd agree?
Yes. Good morning, and thank you for having me on your show. Definitely, there is signs of stability in the market, and we've had a tough day as far as the 4th June was concerned. And I think the big concern is the resurgence of the regional politics, the regional political parties. This is a trend which I think needs to be arrested. And I think that has been the concern of the market. But I think as of now, of course, there is a huge relief in the market. And I think the market should move up from the current levels. Yes, there are fundamental factors. Yesterday, I think we had the Brent crude prices, which have corrected. And we've seen an impact of this on various sectors like FMCG. We've seen impact on paints, tires, auto sector, etc. So I think things are beginning to move in various sectors. We've seen movement yesterday in metal space also, and auto also.
Less than about 30 odd seconds for the pre-open rates to hit, and this is going to be an exciting one. Shrikant Chouhan, this is the best time to know what your top picks are for this morning.
Yeah, Ravana, I think in last few days, if we see the overall performance of sectors, then metal stocks did really well. Whenever they have fallen to their extreme levels, they recovered back sharply, and most of the time they managed to close near to their recent highs. So based on their technical formation, we are of the view that we should look for taking these stocks on the trading side. In that specifically, we like Hindalco. I heard that there is some negative development, so we could see some sideways sort of activity in the first half. So maybe after the open only, we will look for Hindalco. But Tata Steel looks really a strong candidate to buy for. It is consistently holding above the levels of 160, 165, which is positive. And based on its technical formation, it could see the levels of 180, 83 in the near term. Hindalco, we were positive, but I think there is some development, so we need to see later on. But Tata Steel at current levels around 170.72, it's a buy with a stop loss close to 165 with a target of 185 on the higher side. And the other stock which we like is Power Finance Corporation. It was around 570 levels. From there all the way the stock has fallen to 430, 420, and now again it is recovering back. So amongst PSUs, if we see any specific one or two stocks, then PFC is delivering really uh, uh, decent return on every time frame. So PFC looks strong bet to buy around 470, 75. Around 440, 445 with a target of 475, 480, and we can keep stop loss somewhere close to 430.
Right, those are a few technical picks coming in. It's pre-open and it's actually looking pretty solid. But of course, these are early ticks. We're not going to get too carried away. In pre-open trade, the Nifty is in kissing distance of 23,000, 1.3% high. Now, this is how it works out. It's going to make traders very, very excited on the street. Lots of stocks will be in focus as well. Remember, yesterday, all the Nifty 50 counters went home in the green. Whether that plays out today is going to be something we'd like to watch out for. Nirav, fundamentally, so many stocks are available 15, 20% cheaper. I'm assuming what was a buy last week should remain even more attractive buy yesterday and today. Anything that you've picked in this recent fall that looks attractive? Because there are still some stocks out there that are looking relatively cheaper.
Yes, I think in the auto pack, we've been looking at the two-wheeler space, and I think we've seen good moves in Hero MotoCorp. We've seen good moves in TVS Motor Company, Bajaj Auto. So I think these are the preferred areas for us. And I think we've been looking at FMCG also. We've been looking at HUL. We've been looking at stocks like Jyoti Laboratories, etc. So selectively, we have been picking up stocks in this sector.
I'll tell you why. Right. Shrikant, you know, yesterday what we did notice is that there were some areas in the market that maybe stayed out in terms of participation. So a lot of the PSU names, BDL, HAL had it quite rough even in trade yesterday. Now, they were in a structural bull trend is what most technical analysts were of the opinion. Do you feel like this interim breakthrough, breakdown is a buying opportunity? Do you feel like these stocks could lead the way up in today's trade and hence could potentially be constructive on them?
I think, see, the overall momentum that we saw in last 1.5 year, it was mainly from all these PSUs. And after this specific development, we saw a good amount of profit taking or offloading long positions. So till the markets are not stabilizing, till the markets are not giving the clarity that it is comfortably holding above the levels of 23,000, we could see some sideways sort of activity or some consolidation sort of activity in all these stocks. We are not expecting furthermore steep decline in these stocks, but yes, they could consolidate at the lower boundary of the entire trading range. But if we see the market market starts trading above the levels of 23,000, then yes, all these stocks can do again really well, because see, the overall momentum, the overall long-term trend, it's still intact. They were like not corrected at all in last 2 months, and that's the reason we saw massive correction when there was specific development. But otherwise, I'm of the view that they are going to consolidate, and eventually again we are going to see rally from PSUs.
Well, it will be interesting because remember, as we said, that yesterday the PSU action was very mixed. There were some which really cracked and some which did really well. We've got one which cracked a little bit yesterday, by the way, GRSC, on our show today a bit later on. So it'll be lovely to understand from them about the business aspect. But today, Garden Reach is up about 2.3% as well, or 2.9% actually. Early rates, but let's wait and watch. Nirav, one quick question. Yesterday, the last 2 or 3 days, the TDP linked stocks, whether there is an actual linkage or no is separate, except for Heritage Food, of course, which has got a direct linkage. But the belief that infrastructure projects will start with a bang, so from an NCC to a KCP Cement to a Ramco Cements, all of them did really well. Would you bet on any of these? And fundamentally, if you're betting on any of them, what are the fundamental reasons for the same?
Well, yes, I think definitely we would like to have a look at all these stocks, but it will be on a case-by-case basis. And I think there is a huge potential for development in Andhra Pradesh. And of course, we've seen good momentum in stocks like KNR Construction yesterday, NCC. We have KCP, which has been doing quite well. So some of these stocks could be big beneficiaries of the demand, which is expected to come up in the years to come. So definitely we'd like to have a look at these stocks.
Well, we've talked about a few stocks, but Shrikant, before we go into market open, Adani stocks, anything that looks good there? Because they also sold off very sharply after, of course, Monday's up move in trade on Tuesday. Not a significant recovery yesterday. Do you feel like today could be a day when Adani stocks could make good intraday longs?
In fact, Savina, from yesterday only in the second half, we saw a good amount of buying interest in Adani Enterprises as well as Adani Ports, Ambuja Cement, ACC. But most of the time, whenever we see there is uncertainty in the market, we see specific buying interest in stocks like Adani Ports as well as Ambuja Cement. Based on their technical formation, I'm of the view that again we are going to see recovery or pullback sort of trend in all these stocks because the sell-off was much sharper than expectations, and it was the all these stocks have broken their important supports. So we need to see that whether they manages to sustain above their important support levels on a weekly basis or not. I'm to say on Friday, but for the day, yes, we could see the levels of maybe 1430, 1450 sort of levels for Adani Ports, and for Adani and for Ambuja also 620.25 looks achievable. But at current levels, I think the trading opportunity is not that favorable because the risk reward ratio is not that favorable. So it is better to stay away. But yes, if there is any position, then try to reduce those positions close to important resistance level. I'm expecting all these stocks are going to consolidate for next few more days.
Shrikant, just wanted to get your take on a couple of counters that have seen news flow today and are doing well as well. Uno Minda, do you have a view over here? Seems well poised for the whole EV push as well, and BHEL with that big order win.
Yeah, see, like for Uno Minda, it is consolidating and it is relatively outperforming to the entire space. It is holding well above the mark of 850, 900, which is certainly positive. And whenever the stock is rallying, it is consolidating and again rallying to the next levels. So this time also, I'm expecting stock to spend some more time between the levels of maybe 900 and 850. But eventually, we are expecting stock to move towards 1000, 1050 sort of levels. No doubt, previous highest levels 930, 940 is going to act as immediate resistance for it. But the broader pattern is suggesting us that the stock is bullish. And the other stock on which you discuss is BHEL. Yes, there also we saw dip decline, but the stock is still holding well above their monthly and quarterly lows. So which is positive. I'm to say the stock is still into uptrend, and we could see the levels of 300, 310 in the near term.
What about banks? We've been betting on a recovery in banks or an extension of the rally, and most people have said they like private sector banks versus PSU from a medium-term outlook. What is your take on HDFC Bank? There was also a report by UBS that said if FPIs have to come back, which is only a matter of time, HDFC Bank could be a key beneficiary to that. Nirav, that's for you.
Yeah, I think HDFC Bank definitely we have a long-term view over there, and of course at this point of time there is a certain amount of uncertainty, but I think it remains a buy. It's a stock which we have been accumulating. Apart from that, we've been looking at ICICI Bank, State Bank of India too.
Nirav, just wanted to get your take on the whole FMCG pack. The last 2 days have been brilliant for them, but in the context of perhaps a defensive play, new government focus, etc. What happens now to all your Daburs and Imamis, etc.? Do you see more of a run up there, or they go back to sort of the deep freeze for a bit?
Yes, I think we expect some consolidation in these stocks because the run-up has been quite sharp. And I think most of the positives have been factored in also because yesterday, as we had discussed, that in the case of HUL, they've got the benefit of the revival in the rural economy, plus the prices of crude oil, which have cooled off. And we know that 51% of the portfolio is soaps and detergents, where we have crude-based derivatives. So I think that is going to ease the margin pressure also as far as HUL is concerned. So HUL benefits on account of this. We have other companies like Dabur, which have said that they've been ahead of the curve as far as the investments are concerned. And the various investments which they have made have helped them to report a growth in rural markets, which is 400 basis points above the urban. So I think all the hard work which has been done by these companies is really paying off as far as the FMCG companies are concerned. On the other hand, we have smaller players like Jyoti Laboratories also, which have reported a fantastic operating leverage. While the sales are up around 12%, the EBITDA has moved up by around 52%. So this is the kind of margin expansion which have happened in some of these companies. And I think the valuations are now trying to play catch up with these developments.
Shrikant, very quickly, markets have opened up, some with a pretty big gap up. Give me a quick trade for today after seeing what we've got in the after seeing market open.
Yeah, I think like market is again reversing back after hitting the levels of 22,800. So we are of the view that today it is better to focus more on stock instead of focusing more on the index. I'm expecting market to consolidate at higher levels. But in this particular space, if we really would like to go for any specific stock, then Bharat Electronics looks good because yesterday there was hardly any momentum in all these defensives. But today we are expecting defensives in that defense stock specifically to do well. We like Bharat Electronics, which is around 275. There the target is around 295, and we can keep today's low as a stop loss, which is around 265. We also like Bank of Baroda from the PSU banks, and in that currently it is around 267, but the target is around 280. Keep a stop loss somewhere close to 262 for the same.
Tata Steel buzzing this morning. Let's just pull up that counter. So Tata Steel has clarified that they are in discussions with the Dutch government for a decarbonization roadmap. Premature to draw any final conclusions at this time. They are responding to a newspaper report which claimed that the Dutch government is paying them 3 billion euros for decarbonization. Now they're saying that no, I mean, we're still in discussion, so it's premature. I think that's still a positive because at least that discussion is on. So the stock doing fairly okay, 1.5% up. Nirav, just wanted to get your take on the entire metal pack and Tata Steel, of course, on that one news flow. But what's the broad view there?
Yes, I think we remain positive on Tata Steel as well as Steel Authority of India. And as far as Tata Steel is concerned, as well as the entire steel industry, the focus is on clean steel, green steel, and sustainable steel. So I think there is a lot of move which is happening towards decarbonization and moving towards the electric arc furnace route. And I think that augurs extremely well for the entire industry. So I think the frontline steel players should continue to do quite well.
This thing about Tata Steel, one, that the government will pay it money, because you can kind of understand why it would happen in the Netherlands, a country, very low-lying country, very strict about what is happening as far as emissions go, because they face a threat about rising sea levels. So in some sense, you can almost believe when something like this comes out that if it is possible, yes, it is possible in the Netherlands. Two, I mean, Tata Steel gets, we don't know the quid pro quo for something like this. I mean, is it just a grant? It may not be profits, but even if it is, to payouts and incur the whole expenditure. Yeah. But even if it is a grant without anything Tata Steel has to give, and if it helps them just clean up the plant, because they would do it for Tata Steel because it's a major employer.
No, and also Neeraj, when we spoke to them at this quarter earnings, I think while they had resolved all the issues in the UK, in terms of plant closures and made those payments, struck that deal with the government, there was a little bit of an overhang because there was no indication in terms of conversation with the Dutch government. Of course, when we spoke to them, they said that they expect it to fall on track and be exactly in line with the kind of deal that they'd struck with the UK government. But if you look today, in the UK situation, they had to shell out money. And if this 3 billion is coming their way for changing their plans...
That was for employment. That was for plant closure.
Yeah.
This is for an environmental
moving to an efficient... but the investment could have to come from them as well, right?
Yeah.
The fact that the government is, and the fact that these conversations have been underway, had been an overhang on Tata Steel for the last couple of years.
I suppose European Union is also very, very clear about moving to, cleaner industry and are willing to pay for it.
Especially in Netherlands because of the area. And of course, Tisco being such a large employer.
Yeah. Interesting. So Tata Steel in focus, the railway stocks in focus. Shrikant, just wanted to get your take on any of that pack, rail, PSUs, all of them completely shining today. So are the defense players, Cochin Shipyard, HAL, all of them are back. But let me start with, your view on which do you think are the most attractive in terms of the railway stocks?
Yeah, the one I think, from the railway space, we like RVNL. The reason is because it is relatively outperforming to almost all the stocks, and whenever there is a correction, we see a smart recovery in the stock. The correction was also lesser than other stocks. It is currently around 373, 375. Yes, we could see some consolidation, but eventually we are expecting stock to do well. In the near term, we could see the levels of maybe 410, 415 sort of levels on the high side. From the defense space, we like Bharat Electronics, and from the power space, we like Power Finance Corporation.
Okay. Shrikant, just one quick thing. HDFC Bank is actually in the red after starting off in the green. You would use this opportunity to load up?
Yeah, I think, it is, yesterday there was smart gains for HDFC Bank. We could see some sideways activity, but broadly we are of the view that it is going to consolidate around these levels, but eventually it is heading higher because since the sell-off that we saw in the stock on 17th of January, after the dismissal of the, disappointing numbers, since 17 Jan to till date, we saw a good amount of bullish consolidation in the stock, and now it is on the verge of crossing that. So the real target which is coming out of this particular pattern is around 1750, which is unbelievable. But yes, this is what we are going to see in next few weeks or months. It will take some time, but I think the stock is heading higher.
If not HDFC, which you do believe is in a consolidating phase, what about SBI bounce back today?
Yeah, there also we see some activity because yesterday there was a completely muted sort of activity in all the PSU banks. We could see some retracement, but at these levels, I am of the view that it is better to buy if there is any correction in the market instead of buying at these levels, because the market has already reached to its important level of 22,800. And in the past, if you see the overall trend and range of the market, then it was between 22,800 and 21,800. So yes, we could see some correction. Let the market stabilize somewhere close to 22,500, 400 levels. Then again, we may look for taking some more positions. Otherwise, we need to be more and more choosy while taking positions in the market.
All right. Thank you so much, Shrikant. Thank you so much, Nirav. Great speaking with you this morning.